We went to North Wilkesboro. What a great night.
What a great night.
I don't even know how we talk about that.
I got questions.
Nothing we could do. I mean, nothing we could we could not do this justice in just a conversation.
Well, let's start here. Let's try.
Well, first of all, one thing I want to do is, first thing I want to say is about North Wilkesboro. Look, we're going to do our best to try to talk about this experience, and we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it justice. Mike, you put together a thing called Roots and Revival.
That's right. The Dirty Mo Media team did.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so you had an idea, and the Dirty Mo Media team edited and produced and filmed and recorded a 5-part series, all right, on Dirty Mo Media's YouTube page. So if you want to relive it or if you want to see it for the first time, it's a 5-part series. These are, 5 to 15-minute clips of each, sort of the progress of getting this track back, going out there and witnessing some action in the mod races and so forth, and then going back as a late model driver and running in the race itself. And it showcases really the track. Obviously, I'm in there a good bit, but it highlights a lot of the drivers. It highlights a lot of the fan experience. It's a fly-on-the-wall kind of deal. I loved it. Thought it was so well done. One of the things I'm most proud of that Dirty Mo Media's created, and we have created some awesome content here of late especially. But please go check out Roots and Revival on our YouTube page to see everything that went on from the start to finish at North Wilkesboro. But we went out there, and basically the crowd was twice as big as I expected it to be. The racing was more fun than I expected it to be. The vibe and the energy, it missed all the marks. It went beyond anything that I could have ever imagined it being. And I think that I will probably, more than likely, 10, 20, 30 years from now, I've got an easier answer now when somebody says, what's the coolest thing or the greatest thing or the biggest thing that you've ever been a part of in racing? Because, honestly, man, the winning Daytona 500, winning championships in Xfinity Series, amazing moments, so much fun, so much great memories. But there was something special about that you can't recreate. No matter how hard we try, we would never be able to duplicate what happened there. And not to say that North Wilkesboro doesn't have a great future and a good value to the industry. It does. And I think everybody realizes it's probably better than even people anticipated in terms of what that track could mean to the sport going forward. But that was just something else. I just don't I don't even know how to put it into words, because it was so unexpected that everybody was going to have such a great time and that everything was going to be just all right. We had a racetrack that the bathrooms aren't great, the facilities, the infrastructure. It's there was free parking, but the traffic was horrendous. A lot of people were late getting into the racetrack. Lines, a lot of people having trouble getting there. Some people that had tickets got there and didn't even get in to see the race. It was not perfect, but I think for the most part, everybody showed so much grace in terms of, look, I got to go use a porta-john that 1,000 other people have used today or over the last 2 days. It's in terrible shape, but I'm okay with that for this night. And I think there were a lot of things that the fans showed grace on, and everybody was just so happy to see what they were seeing that it was okay. And, I think if anything happens at Wilkesboro going forward, there will be a lot of improvements in terms of getting the racetrack where it can handle that type of crowd again. Now that they know that there's that much interest, and they're going to fix a lot of things. But, yeah, we'd never be able to do that again.
So the key there is don't even try. Like, we shouldn't even try.
You're right.
Because that's where people mess up.
Yeah.
Is when they go try to replicate something that's not – it's just you're not going to go duplicate that anymore.
That's right.
The feeling, the fact that you said the grace that people showed, that's 100% true. Because here's another example. There was no scoreboard. There was no way of knowing what laps we were on. Hannah and I were asking this the whole time, and it's like, I don't even care.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He'll throw a white flag. You know when? We'll know it's one to go when he throws that white flag.
That's right.
We don't really even need to know, and it's okay because everything's too perfect.
Yes. And that's a great point. So when we were there for the mods, I was texting with some of the people that were managing the whole process, and I said, it's tough not knowing who's where and what lap we're on, how many laps are left in the race, and people are like, well, use the app. There's this timing and scoring app that you can get, and a lot of people in the industry are pretty aware of it, but the service is so bad there it wouldn't work.
No.
And so I'm thinking, man, how's this going to go? I was sitting there thinking about our race a month later. After the modifieds, I was like, we got to fix this, that, and the other, and it's okay. You're right. I remember being there in the 80s, not knowing exactly what lap it was. Yes, we had a scoreboard, but it wasn't always in perfect view, or and you didn't know. You'd be watching the race and not know whether it was 100 to go, 200 to go, 300 to go, whatever, right? And that was okay. That was the way it was. It didn't get we didn't have this technology, and we weren't catered to so much as we are today in terms of the fan experience.
It kind of felt better. It felt decluttered.
It's what it's like, Mike? It's like in this digital age where we, I want to add this song to my library. I don't even have to pay for it anymore. I'm just going to go tell Apple, just put that in my library, and I'm going to start listening to it. It's like going from that to going to your vinyl collection and throwing a record on and just listening to a record straight through.
Good analogy. Actually, that's right.
Yeah, North Wilkesboro was our vinyl collection, our Field of Dreams.
A Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
I was thinking, it's like in the movie Field of Dreams, do people go, there ain't no fence out there. It's just the corn.
Yeah.
I can't watch this baseball game because there ain't no fence. How do you even know if it's a home run?
Right.
You don't know. There was none of that because you know what? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Appreciate the purity of the whole situation. And none
did.
of that stuff matters. And that's exactly what happened at Wilkesboro.
Everybody appreciated it.
Now, we need to talk about this.
Do it.
Your performance.
Oh.
Dude,
Yeah.
we left this room saying you were going to suck out loud.
Yeah, you did.
I was helping you out.
I know.
I was getting your mind right. And that there were too many great race car drivers. Bobby McCarty was out there. I mean, like, you got some of the greats. Dude, you qualified 6th. You finished 3rd, and you passed those sons of bitches as you were going. I mean, the last 50 laps, you went from 13th to 3rd, and you had a chance to win.
Yeah.
Now, you were too humble to sit there and talk about how awesome that was. However, there's 3 of us that were also there, Alex, Hannah, and myself. That performance, the racing performance, was amazing.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, the crowd, the energy that culminated from that also cannot be replicated.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I didn't. To be honest with you, when the race started, we were, we're not gonna run super hard. We're not gonna race guys on the outside. We were starting 6th, so we had to get to the bottom. The bottom's where I could save the tire the best. It was absolutely going to be critical to save the tire. If you ran hard as you could right away, you were going to, fall back through the pack late in the race and not have any tires, no control of your car. So we set out to preserve. Josh Berry told me, he's like, look, I need you to kind of be near 7th. Let's not get too crazy and get too far back and give up too much. So I was sitting 9th, and I was a little close to some of the guys in front of me, and they got to racing a little bit, and I kind of got checked up a bit behind them, and a car got underneath me, and it was Diaz that ran 2nd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great kid, great family. I was like, man, he's going to go up there and burn it up, but he didn't. He ended up running 2nd in the race. And another car, number 1 car, I can't remember who was driving it, but anyhow, I lost a couple spots, and I was thinking, okay, I'm getting a little too far back. And so I started getting a little bit antsy and tried to make a pass. Minnie Tyrell had went up and led the race, and he was falling back with some issues. And a lot of us were trying to pass him on the bottom. Jared Fryer was in front of me, but Jared got pinned behind Minnie on the outside. But Jared was trying to get under Minnie as well and squeeze his way into underneath Minnie to pass him. He was losing spots and not okay with that. Well, as I'm trying to pass on the bottom, Jared goes to the middle. So now we're 3 wide in the middle of 3 and 4. Coming up off of 4, I get into the left front of Jared's car, and we're hooked down the front straightaway, and it pushed a quarter panel onto my right rear tire. And that starts rubbing. I don't really know that's happening, but now I do after the fact. Well, the car gets really loose. And so I told Josh at that point, I said, okay, I'm sitting 11th. And I said, hey, Josh, I'm running as hard as I can. I can't catch the guys in front of me, and I don't have any more. We're not saving anymore. This is it.
This is all we got. Yeah.
And I got kind of sad because I thought, shoot, this is exactly what I thought might happen is I'm going to come out here and run as hard as I can and run 10th. And that's just how good these guys are. And, and that's just that was just going to be a piece of humble pie of, if you want to run good in this, you're going to have to run a lot. You're going to have to put a lot into it. You're not just going to show up after 20 years and, go out here and win. And so I was sitting there trying to come to terms with that. And then we came down pit road, and Josh said the left side tires are wore out. He said the right rear is in the fabric. We got a lot of damage. We're going to work on it. We need some time to fix this damage. So he's talking to TJ about the pace car and whatnot. They fixed the right rear quarter panel, put 2 right side tires on it, and you could only put 2 tires on. So we had rights to put on. Everybody else did the same thing. But he said the lefts were wore out pretty bad. And we had Carson behind us who had led the whole race pretty much, and he had managed his tires really well, and we had somebody to compare to. Like, okay, this is, if Carson's tires are like this is pretty much what everybody's got or worse. And we'll know kind of where we sit in terms of how well we've preserved our tires for the finish of the race. And Josh said, man, your lefts are no good. He's like, compared to Carson, they're not that great. So I don't expect a lot, okay?
Wow.
And I said, okay. He said, just get what you can get, but don't. It might not be driving too good because the left rear is pretty cooked. And I said, okay. But when we restarted, it was like 40 or 50 to go, and I said, okay, Josh, I'm just going to run as hard as I can. Smart, straight, not slide the tires, but I'm running hard all the way to the end. And everybody in front of me was really struggling.
They were.
Struggling.
Yeah. People that were good the whole race all of a sudden were no longer good. Right.
Off the corner, they were squirting the right rear out and
right.
and sliding, and I'm like driving right up to them. On throttle, my car just went straight. I gassed it up, and it just goes straight. It wasn't trying to spin the rear tires or get loose. As best it had been all night. And so, yeah, I'm like, oh, man, this is fun. Okay, we're going to get back into the top 8, top 7, top 6. Oh, man, we're going to get top 5. It's cool. And ended up getting to race with Bobby, which was probably the most fun. I enjoyed racing a lot of these guys. Me and Jared had the contact. We talked after and had a beer. He won at Langley a couple weeks ago, big race. So it was fun to talk to him, talk to his car owner. I talked to Bobby's car owner before the race, and me and Bobby talked a little bit throughout the week.
Yeah.
And then so Bobby and me, we go down into turn 3 for 4th place, and Bobby just turns left into the door of my car. And we're rubbing tires and rubbing doors, and I was smiling. And I was like, if you're going to get out here and race with Bobby, you want the real Bobby, right? Because we get out of the, when we banged a few other straightaways, and he raced hard, but he never, hooked me or anything bad. And finally, I got by. I forget who we passed for third.
Well, Bobby and I think Brendan Queen,
yes,
Butterbean were both right there. All of you were racing for between 3rd and 5th.
Yes, and down the front straightaway, Butterbean off of 4 one time. Bobby got loose and we door slammed at the flag stand. And then I got up underneath Butterbean in the 03 car, and something happened in the air pressure underneath his hood. And so when I got next to him, we didn't touch. But I'm sitting there riding off of turn 4, racing as hard as I can, and I can just see in my peripheral vision his hood just popped up in the air. Like he ran straight in the back of another car, but nobody was in front of him. His hood just popped up because the air pressure, he might have had a little damage from early in the race that broke a hood pin or something in the center, but something happened, and so he couldn't see. And so he had to pull off eventually with a couple laps to go. He pulls in the pits because he couldn't see in front of him.
Right.
But anyhow, man, it was we got out of the car, and Bobby and I, he was like, Bobby was coming up to me, he's like, yeah, everybody was just moving over for you. I wasn't going to do that.
Stop.
Yeah.
Come
he was
on
like,
now.
He was like, everybody, I raced the shit out of these guys, and then when you come up through there, they're like, go ahead, Dale.
Parting of the Red Sea.
And so when you got beside me, I was like, hell no. And he turns and he's like, we're gonna trade some paint. And I said, man, if I wouldn't expect anything less. I was like, if I'm coming out here to race and get door to door with you, I hope that I get the same thing you give everybody else.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that was
all right, but we got to also say this: there was a caution late, and then you guys had a green-white-checkered restart that was double file restart, and we didn't even know. Hannah told me, she's like, you look in the cars tour, they may actually start this single file. I'm sitting next to Hannah during this race, which is a great thing to do. Sit by Hannah at a race because you will know more about that than anything else, right? And so we weren't sure if they were going to start single file or double file, but we wanted you to have a chance to win.
Yeah.
And so what was going through your mind during that caution, knowing that you were going to have a sprint to the checkered? And your race car driver, Carson Kvapil, is also leading the race.
Yeah, Carson's leading the race, so my aggression was muted a little bit because of that, for sure. I wasn't going to do anything to him that would jeopardize his opportunity to win. If he makes a big mistake, then it opens the door for me, but otherwise that was the only way I was probably going to beat him. I was absolutely hell-bent to run second. And so down the back straightaway, so the shifter in this car, the shifting is really old school. It's an old style transmission, and when I say old, it's like 2000s era. And so in the last decade, the shifting for me has been really short throws, like just very little movement to get from gear to gear. And with this car, you got a little bit longer of a shifter, and the throws are much bigger. And so, it's like swinging a hammer, from gear to gear. So down the back straightaway, I'm practicing from third to fourth. You restart in third, go to fourth. And so I'm practicing that movement, trying to make sure that I get this thing down. I want to make sure I don't miss a shot. I was really worried about missing a shift. And so I got a great launch. I had not had good restarts all night. Every time we had a restart, I had a gap in front of me for the car on the outside to take. And so I was trying to really have a great restart. I launched perfectly with Carson. We take off. I'm right on his bumper. I'm going to go into turn one side by side with Diaz. Right at the flag stand, I missed the shift. Went from third to fourth, and before I got the gear, got the fourth gear gate locked, I mashed the gas, and it wasn't in there yet. And so it was a short, quick rev, then back in, to get it into the gate and go, but it was a car length. And now Diaz is not, now we're not side by side. We go down the corner, nose to tail, 1, 2, 3. I got up underneath Diaz, but he did a really good job of entering kind of high into 3 and turning down across the racetrack and basically cutting off my path. If I was going to be able to exit, the way I'd planned the exit, I was going to have to drive literally through his car. And so I was just, I'm sitting there thinking, let's not get stupid here and door this guy and flatten our tires or hurt me or hurt him and cost us a great result. Like, we were sitting there before the caution came out, literally coming off of turn 4 to get the white flag about 4 seconds behind the leader. And I'm in that moment before that yellow, I'm thinking, I'm thrilled. And then we had the caution. I had to kind of regroup and go, well, we got a shot at second. Missed the shift. Okay, that was my shot. Let's just get it home. And I was, Carson is racing for the points. It's a great night for him. Not just because of the car's tour points, but he got to put his name in front of a lot of people that might not really have understood his talent and ability. So it's a big deal for him, big race for him to win. We're trying our hardest to sort of, this guy's good, y'all. Everybody up in the top 3 series, this is one of the guys to watch. And I think that race really did it for Carson. And, I'd have loved to have won. That would have, I don't know, I probably would have just I'd have probably retired from everything if I'd have won that race. Probably wouldn't be here podcasting today. I'd be down at the beach house.
Flying the double birds on the exit of Wilkesboro. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
If the emotion with Carson in Victory Lane is captured quite beautifully by the Dirty Mo crew on that Chapter 5 of Roots and Revival, if people want to watch that. But if you would have won, I cannot imagine you would have celebrated any harder than you already did.
Yeah.
You brought the cooler of beer. You were drinking it. You were passing it out, and you were certainly in your element in Victory Lane with Carson and celebrating all that. So I thought it was just, again, contributing to the perfect scenario. Like, I think everything was just right and impossible to replicate.
I'm really learning how to enjoy winning as an owner, and and so that for me was a tough balance because I'd always wanted to win as a driver. I didn't know how to want to win as an owner for a long time. Now, I enjoyed success, and I love to see our company have success, but it was just such a different approach that it's just I'm finally getting to a point to where winning as an owner has become equally as enjoyable.
That's saying
as
something.
A driver.
Good.
And
Yeah.
that took some work, but I think it's just because for the longest time I dealt, how I am with not feeling deserving and all those things, and I felt like, when we were winning as an owner, it was like, whoops, we didn't deserve that, and now I feel like, damn right, man, we're kicking it. I mean, look at Junior Motorsports this year, 10 wins.
Yeah.
Like, we're damn right.
Yeah.
We deserve it. We work hard.
Yeah.
Carson deserves it. I see him in the shop working his guts out. And so when you climbed them stairs, you climbed it with purpose.
Yeah.
Like, damn right, this is exactly where we wanted to be at the end of all this. And so it was awesome to be able to walk up there and meet the car coming up the lift and look out on that lift, and Josh and Carson and all of them standing around that car. That to me was a cool moment because it's like they're they do that in concerts where they lift the lead singer comes out of the floor, and the fans are like, yeah, there he is, yes, we've been here all day waiting, and I bought these tickets months ago.
Yeah.
That was kind of
It's
like
a moment.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a moment.
Yeah.
And they come up the top of that floor, and the car's like a star, the car's almost like the lead singer of the band.
Right.
You're like, wow.
That's funny. Again, Dustin on the Dirty Mo crew was on the lift as it went up, and then when it gets there, you capture it beautifully, Dustin. You get up there, and there you are waiting with your beer,
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost like you went from a different element, and now you're in this other whole system of what we're in Victory Lane, and it's just completely different.
Yeah.
It's just everything about it's different. It's brighter. That was the other thing, boy. There was pockets of that track that are dark. I mean, like there's some places that
all of the light was temporary.
Yeah,
I
know.
There's no fixed lights.
Hannah and Alex, you guys were in the grandstands. Is there anything y'all have to contextualize that night? I thought it was.
I mean, it was cool. We made the point that we just got general admission tickets. We were like, we are going to be race fans, and it worked out perfect that Mike happened to see us as he was walking up, and he was like, I'm sitting by you guys. So he came up and sat in general admission with us in the grandstands and watched the race.
With, Mike?
Well, I was there all day with the Dirty Mo crew.
Okay, that's right.
We went up together, but then I wanted to see this from the grandstands.
Did anybody in the grandstands say hey to Mike?
Oh, yeah.
How'd
Mike,
that go?
I
was curious about that.
Mike was drinking beer with the guys down below us. They were like, "Here you go, Mike," and taking pictures. He was drinking beer with the guys below us.
You got pictures too, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Once
they put it together, I think once Mike came up there, they were like, "Oh, wait a second, hold on."
We got half the download right here in this section.
Yeah,
right?
It was so cool though. Like honestly, the atmosphere, and I mean, I wasn't super educated on North Wilkesboro because the last race at Wilkesboro was the year before I was born. So I never really even got to watch anything from there. But everything from the concessions and the people, and I mean, it was packed, and the atmosphere, you could feel it. Yeah. And that's something that, I've been to a lot of races, and I've been to a lot of different disciplines, and I think you hit the nail on the head. You can't recapture that. It was one of those things that if they chase that every single time they do that, they're going to be disappointed because it was just incredible. It was so cool. And Dylan was with me, and Mike and I sat up there, and you just kind of had to take a minute, even while the cars were on track. You were just looking both directions, because every fifth shirt was the 3 Sundrop shirt. You talk about paint the crowd green. every fifth shirt was one. It was super cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I watching the stands as you would make a pass or come around. It was just green.
It was
and
the
everyone
wave,
was
yeah.
waving, and I'm just like, oh yeah, this is awesome. It was like
It
going
was
to
so
like a
cool.
Home
sports
team
team.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just like Dale's. Like this is like Yankee Stadium. It's like going crazy.
Alex actually brought his girlfriend, but he didn't want us to actually meet her.
No.
So he didn't communicate with us at all
No,
once he
Mike-
got to the track.
Mike didn't
What?
answer me. He ghosted me after like 6. I'm like, I'm gonna be late, so I'll probably be stuck in the traffic.
You
And
were where you had to park a long ways away.
I had to
right?
park like a mile down the road or something like that, just on the side street, and walked up. But
They opened the grandstands. The goal was to open the grandstands at 4. And I was like, Dylan, we need to be like rolling on property by like 3:50 just because it's general admission seating. I wanted to go make sure we got good seats. And the line to get in at 4, I mean, it took us 25 minutes to just get to where we could park. They already had people parking in overflow parking, and it was slammed. And I think they actually delayed the race start like 15 minutes to get people in. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, the infrastructure, if they did it again, I mean, it took me 45 minutes to get a corn dog. I ain't complaining. It was probably one of the best corn dogs I've ever had. But nonetheless, like, there was people everywhere. It was wild.
best was the beer prices, though. I mean, you can get. They're
They're
like,
so reasonable.
Yeah, very reasonable.
See, we brought a cooler. So we
See-
brought all of our own beer in.
Yeah. I mean,
My-
we didn't, but
I was so thankful for that. The free parking, the cheap tickets. I mean, I think general admission was how much? $15, $20?
$15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did, So there was the concession prices where everything was nostalgically
Yeah.
cheap, right?
It was under $50 for both Dylan and I to go in, have something for dinner, grab a soda or whatever, and have our tickets. So it was under $50 for 2 of us to go to a race. Like, unheard of.
Yeah.
Right.
And I to be clear now, I think that they will race at Wilkesboro again without a doubt. I think that this everybody wants to know this, right? What's going on next? So, I think that everybody needs to keep their ear to the ground. News on North Wilkesboro is going to continue to flutter out. It will not all come out in one piece. It never did. It never has. This whole process has been fluid. Ideas and ideas on the future and what it's going to be will change. Be ready for that. What might be promised one day may not be reality the next, but it's been an experience. This past Wednesday really, really opened up the eyes to the people that matter. They already had a great opinion about, when I say they, it's like Marcus and the people that matter, NASCAR. Everyone already had a pretty good idea that there's something here. There's something this track can be. Well, really, what is that? And that's what I mean when it's been fluid. And it will continue to be. But I think that Wednesday surprised the hell out of these people, the important people. They thought it'd be good, but it was way beyond what I think that they expected. And it has shifted everything into high gear.
Okay.
In terms of, man, it's not – I think this place can be something. This place can be something. I'm sure of it. Now we've got to really put things into motion.
Gotcha.
And so just, keep your ear to the ground. The news is going to be coming. Maintain patience. Continue to show as much grace as you possibly can in terms of North Wilkesboro. I got to say thanks to all the fans for that grace that we had last Wednesday. I know it wasn't a perfect situation in terms of amenities and so forth, but continue to try to show that patience and grace going forward. I think that there's some good things that can happen there, and we'll do everything we can with our opportunities and connections to keep the news flowing. Hey guys, I'm here to tell you 3 reasons why I love our sponsor, Tire Pros. Number 1, Tire Pros loves cars as much as I do. Number 2, they have great service. Number 3, they're committed to getting you back out on the road. Plus, they've got this really cool logo.
Dale, that's 4 reasons.
And they have over 600 locations, 24/7 roadside assistance, a great selection, and a best-in-class tire warranty. Tire Pros, love the drive.